Good morning everyone. In our previous class we have studied the basic definitions in the sample survey. In today's class we are going to learn about what are the principal steps involved in the sample survey. So the step-by-step procedure of how you draw the sample and how to conclude the sample, everything we will learn in the principal steps in the sample survey. So there are various steps involved in conducting a sample survey. The first and most important step is the objective of the survey. The objective is very important because whatever the further steps we are going to take, that will be dependent on the objective only. Without knowing the question, we cannot write the answer. In the same way, without knowing our objective, we cannot proceed to the further steps. So before conducting the survey, you need to know why you are conducting the survey, for what purpose you are conducting the survey. That is the most important thing. Coming to the second step, that is population to be sampled. Population to be sampled. So depending on your objective, you have to select your population from which you have to take your sample. Suppose for example, if I am conducting a survey to know the average expenditure, of a particular area, suppose I am considering Hyderabad. So here my objective is I am finding out the average expenditure of the Hyderabad. So my population should also be the Hyderabad population only. I cannot take the some other population, right? So always the population to be sampled is dependent on your objectives. So depending on this objective only, all the steps are proceeded. So second one is population to be sampled. It should be taken carefully dependent upon our objective. Next, the third one is, so after the population, selecting the population, the next one is sampling units. Next is sampling units. So here, what are sampling units? Sampling units means the smallest possible divisions of the populations. Here I have selected Hyderabad, right? So this Hyderabad, how can we divide it area-wise? Suppose Amirpet separately, Kokatpalli separately, Mehdipatanam separately. That divisions, whatever the divisions you make to your populations, that are called sampling units. So next, after deciding our population, we need to divide our population to the sampling units. The sampling units depends upon the nature of the population. Suppose if you are considering household, here average expenditure of Hyderabad families. So each and every family we are considering, right? So here my sampling units I need to divide according to the households. First, suppose I am considering the average expenditure of a single person wise. If I am conducting the experiment of Hyderabad families, I will consider households as my sampling units. Suppose I am considering the average expenditure of each and every person. Then the person will be the sampling units. So depending on the objective, we will take the population to be sampled, and depending on that only, we will divide our sampling units. Next is fourth one. After sampling units, the next one is sampling frame. The next one is sampling frame. What is sampling frame? The list of sampling units is called sampling frame. So here, if I consider the household information or individual information, I will be getting it from a list. What is that list? It may be any voter ID or something kind of that. So by seeing that list, I will get the idea of the sampling units. This sampling frame guides the population towards the sampling units. So that is sampling frame. So we have to select the sampling frame carefully. We observe carefully. So if you are considering the voter list, you have to check that voter list carefully whether the details given in that are perfectly good or not. They are accurate or not. So that if you have any defects, you need to rectify them and do the following procedure. Whatever the required procedure to remove that defects, we will do. So in sampling frame, it should be taken carefully and detect the whatever the mistakes you have in that should be detected. Next one is after sampling units in sampling frame, next is data to be collected. Next is data to be collected. So we have population, we have sampling units, we have sampling frame. Now how to collect this data? So this data should not be too much. So whatever data you are collecting, that should be enough to the required amount. That should not be too much. If you want the household information, you have to collect only the household information. You are checking the income, expenditure, right? So expenditure means, for expenditure what we will do? We want just the prices, right? For expenditure, we want the prices. So if you are consider only the prices information, that will be enough for us. We should not collect too much data which creates bias to our data. So always keep in mind whatever the data you are collecting, that should be meaningful and should not be too much. So next one is designing of questionnaire and schedule. Designing of questionnaire and schedule. So from our first year, we are learning about questionnaire and schedule. So what is a questionnaire? Questionnaire means it is a list of questions. Questionnaire means a list of questions. We will fill a forms, right? So form is a questionnaire where you will have a list of questions and we will write the answers for it. That is the questionnaire. So for questionnaire, the person who is giving the information, they will only fill their answers. But schedule also you will have the questions only. But here who will fill it? Enumerator will fill it. Enumerator means investigator. There will be a person, and that is investigator. He will go to the respondents and he will ask the questions and he will fill that questions in that question, in the listed questions. So if the enumerator is recording the answers, that is called schedule. If the person, the respondent, whoever is giving the answers is called respondent. If the respondent is filling the answers, that is called a questionnaire. The main difference between questionnaire and schedule is questionnaire is filled by the individuals or the respondents. Schedule is filled by the enumerator or the investigator. So designing of questionnaire means depending on our objective, what are the questions needed that should be filled carefully. So suppose if you are filling a form, if you are filling a form, only your personal details. If you are filling a college form, only name, your personal details, your date of birth, your family details are enough, your marks percentage. So similarly like that, depending on the objective, the schedule should be prepared. The schedule or questionnaire should be prepared. There should be not too much unwanted questions. Whatever the questions required for our data, only that question should be included in the questionnaire and schedule. So after questionnaire and schedule, next one is method of collecting information. Method of collecting information. So we have prepared a questionnaire and schedule. So how we will fill that? You want information. That information, if you arrange, that is called a data. So how you prepare your data? How you collect that information? Using questionnaire and schedule, right? But in how many ways? There are two ways for collecting the information. The first one is interview method. The The first one is interview method and the second one is mailed questionnaire method. So we have two methods to collect our information. The first one is interview method. So interview method means the enumerator and the respondent will be facing each other, and the enumerator will ask the questions and the respondent will give the answers. So this is the direct interaction between the enumerator and the respondent. Mailed questionnaire means here the questionnaire, whatever the questionnaire we have prepared, that will be sent to the mail to the respondent and ask them to fill that. So main drawback of this mail questionnaire means there will be some uneducated persons. They cannot read all the questions, they cannot have the mail IDs. So in that case, in case of uneducated people or low skilled people, this mailed questionnaire method is not much suitable. So mostly personal direct interview will be the most appropriate method, because in mailed questionnaire method, few of them may not respond. They may getting the mail, but they may not fill it. They just left it like that. They will leave it, and it is not useful for the uneducated people also. After this, the next step is non-respondents. Non-respondent. Respondent means what? The person who is responding to our questionnaire or schedule. Who is responding to our questions is called a respondent. Non-respondent means if some questions are incomplete. I am sending a questionnaire to someone, I have mailed them, but in that few questions he may not answer. Suppose if you have some personal details, so some will be not liking to share the personal interest, right? If you have an habits like smoking and drinking, so if they ask the question, they may not be comfortable in sharing their answer, right? So in that case, if you have any non-respondent, that is the unfilled answers, if you have that kind of answers, that should be rectified before only. You need to rectify that non-respondents before only and record them. You need to record them. What are the questions which are left, that should be recorded and stored for future information. If you have missing values, it will be not, the data will be not full, right? So whatever the missing values you have, you need to handle them carefully. So the next ninth one is pre-test. Pre-test means you have prepared a questionnaire, you have collected your information, everything. So pre-test means you are testing it before only. So before sending it to the respondents, first you will make a trial of it. Whatever the trial you are making on your questionnaires and schedules, that is called a pre-test. This is very important, because if you are doing any mistakes in your questionnaires, you can rectify them. If you once check them, you can know easily if you have any mistakes. So this pre-test is very important to check whether there are any mistakes in our questionnaire or schedule. So next, the 10th one is, so after the pre-test is finished, if you are successful, the next one is organization of fieldwork. Organization of fieldwork. So fieldwork means what? If you have a schedule, the person has to go there and go and record the answers from the respondents. So that is one kind of fieldwork. Or whatever the technical things you have, or if you are going to any area and conducting the survey, all those should be organized carefully. So organization of whoever is suitable for work, that person only should be assigned to that. Suppose if someone is good at preparing a questionnaire, that person only should be selected to prepare the question. If someone is good at asking the questions carefully, if someone is good at interviewing someone better, that person only should be assigned. So the work should be assigned and divided to each person carefully. That is organization of fieldwork. Next is, after organization of fieldwork, next one is selection of proper sampling design. The next step is selection of proper sampling design. So you have many number of sampling designs. I said also there are many designs. So from that designs, whatever the design suits your data. If your data is numerical or it is something attribute kind of thing. So depending on your data kind, you have to select your sampling design. Depending on your objective and depending on your data, you have to select the proper design. For suppose for coming to college, you may have different routes, right? So depending on your requirement, if you have a two-wheeler, you can come into small lanes also. But if you have a four-wheeler, you cannot come on this smaller lanes, right? You have to obviously take a main road. Similarly like that, depending on your objective and data, you will be selecting the sampling design. So next one is, after selecting the sampling design, the next one is summary and analysis. Summary and analysis. So after selecting the design, you will draw the sample and you will do the summary and analysis. In this summary, you will do editing. So if there are any editings in the data, that will be done in the summary. And next one is tabulation can also be done here. So whatever the information you have collected, you will represent in a tabular form, that is called tabulation. Next, analysis. Editing, tabulation and analysis are done under this step, that is summary and analysis. If you have any editings, that will be done, and tabulation is used to represent our data. And next is analysis and conclusions. You will do the proper analysis to our data and provide the conclusions. This comes under the last 13th one is information gained for future surveys. Information gained for future surveys. So always whatever the survey we have done, all the information should be stored carefully, because though we have planned and executed it with a careful planning only, there might be some mistakes, right? We all are not perfect. We might be doing some or other mistakes. If you find out that mistakes and you give that information or store that information, that will be used for the future surveys. If suppose in the future someone is doing a similar survey like us only. So if they see this information, they will be getting an idea how to conduct this survey. So for similar kind of surveys, this information should be gained carefully, because even though we do the planning, there might be some errors or some execution mistakes will be there. So that rectifying that in the next surveys, the information always should be gathered and stored. So this is the last step of the sample survey. So there are total 13 steps involved in the sample surveys. So I'll just revise once. The first one is objective of the survey. That means here you have to clearly specify your objective for what you are conducting the survey. Next is population to be sampled. So depending on your objective, we will select our population. So depending on our objective only, we have to select our population. It should be related to our objective. Next is sampling units. So you have to divide your population into smaller units depending upon our objective only. Next is sampling frame. So you have to check your sampling frame carefully so that there will be no errors in that, and the information given in the sampling frame should be very clear. Next is data to be collected. You have to collect the data carefully. It should not be too much, and whatever the data you have collected, that should be meaningful. Next is designing of questionnaire and schedule. You have to prepare the questionnaire and schedule depending upon your objectives. The question should be included relating to our objective only. Next is method of collecting information. So there are two methods. First one is interview method. Second one is mailed questionnaire method. Interview method, directly person to person, one-on-one. The enumerator will go to the respondent and take the recordings of the answers. Mailed questionnaire is the questionnaire will be sent to the mail, and the main drawback of this is the uneducated person cannot fill the question. So mostly interview method will be preferable. Next is non-respondents. So if there are any missing values, if some people are not filling the few values, that are called non-respondents. So that non-respondent should be handled carefully. They have to be recorded by the enumerator and should be rectified. And the next one is pre-test. Pre-test means how your questionnaire and schedule are working. You will test it. Just a trial version of your questionnaire and schedule is called a pre-test. Next is organization of field work. The field work should be organized carefully. That means whatever the skilled persons, depending on their skills, each work should be assigned to them carefully. Next is selection of proper sampling design. There are many number of sampling designs available in statistics. So depending on our data and depending upon our objective, we have to select the sampling design. Next is summary and analysis. After drawing the sample, you have to do the summary and analysis. Here you will do the editing. If you have any editing in your data, that will be done here. And the tabulation, whatever the information you have collected, that will be presented in the form of a tabulation. And the next analysis, you have to perform the analysis and give the conclusions in this step. And the last one is whatever you have done in the survey, all the important information should be stored. That means a report analysis should be created and should be saved for the future values. So these are the different steps involved in the sample surveys. We will learn the remaining in the next class.